Good day everyone. Thank you very much for joining us on this Instagram Live. In my office I have Dr. Asha Jones. She is a professional Ayurvedic practitioner and today we're going to talk about Ayurveda. Hopefully some of you on this IG Live know nothing about Ayurveda, because when I first met you, Dr. Asha Jones, I knew nothing about Ayurveda, and certainly in this time I've got to understand a lot. So let's hand over to you. Tell us, what is this thing called Ayurveda? What does it mean? Give us some understanding.
Hi, good morning and namaste.
Thank you.
Ayurveda is the natural healing system from India. Ayurveda is known as the mother of all healing system.
The mother of all healing systems. Why?
Because all the traditional Chinese medicine, homeopathy, all the system of medicine originated actually from the Ayurvedic science.
See,
that is how it is believed.
I did not know that.
Okay, so it's more than 5,000 years old. So all the classical textbooks of Ayurveda is written in the language of Sanskrit. India is a very diverse land of different cultures and languages. Okay, so basically we need to study the science of for the science of Ayurveda. We should know about the Sanskrit language to know the understanding.
So you have to learn Sanskrit?
Yes. We have to learn. Because all the science textbooks are written in Sanskrit language.
When was the first Ayurvedic textbook written?
That I am not sure. Maybe 5,000 years. This is what we are believing.
And who started it?
It's actually in the book. It is written like that. The gods transferred it to the people, the saints, and the saints wrote that books in the Sanskrit language. This is how it is believed.
It's amazing. So what are some of the basic principles of the Ayurvedic science? And I like the word science because it is a science.
It is a science.
Well researched.
Yeah. It's a metaphysical science.
Wow.
Okay. So Ayurveda actually has two parts. The first part deals with how we can live healthy without having any diseases. So in that part, in daily routines, seasonal routines, then food, diet, lifestyle, everything is advised to live a healthy lifestyle. The second part actually describes about how to manage when we are sick. Like it advises about the medicines, treatments, diet modification, lifestyle modification. Basically Ayurvedic treatment and principle is based on the Tridosha theory. Tridosha means three dosha.
Yes, I've heard this. Dosha.
Yeah.
Dosha. What is a dosha?
Dosha is actually a bioenergetic force which is doing all the functions in our body.
So there are three
doshas.
Three doshas in the body. Okay.
That is the Vata, Pitta, and the Kapha.
How do you spell Vata?
Vata, V-A-T-A.
V-A-T-A?
Vata.
Yeah.
Vata,
Pitta?
Pitta, P-I-T-T-A.
And Kapha?
K-A-P-H-A. Kapha.
Okay. Alright, yeah. What do these three energies do?
Yeah. Vata is the first energy which is actually dealing with the nervous system. So it's more related with the muscles and the nerves. The second energy is the Pitta. The Pitta is more related with the hormones and the metabolism. Pitta we can compare like a fire energy in our body. The third one is the Kapha energy. It is like a water energy which is dealing with the structure, the lubrication, giving the structure of the body. Okay, so every individual is born with a unique combination of these three energies.
Yeah, I know. You've told me something about my energies a lot, and your energy and my energy is different. I get that. Yeah.
So if we are able to keep this ratio throughout our life, we will not get any health issues. We are healthy. But because of our diet which is not suiting to our body, or the lifestyle, or some external causes, for example like an infection like corona or any other infections, this energy can get imbalanced, means it can go high or low. So there starts the imbalance, and we then get the health issues. So when
Hence why you say that there are the healthy ways of living, and then obviously what happens when there's diseases.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
So in the healthy way, we can try to balance this energy. We should know what foods are now suiting to our body, what lifestyle is suiting to our body. So if we are following all these things, we will not get any problem.
I'm going to pause you for a moment, and I've got lots of questions, so
Yes.
I'm going to ask plenty of questions now. But if there are anyone that has joined us on the IG Live, if you have questions, please write it in the text box, and then we'll answer those questions. Why did you first move into Ayurveda? Tell us the story of how you joined the Ayurvedic movement.
Okay. I am from Kerala, the southern state of India.
Right.
Kerala is widely known as God's own country.
Really?
Because of its lush greenery. It's a very beautiful place.
I don't know if I told you, but I went to Kerala for my honeymoon, and we just thought it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah. So it's famous for its herbs and spices too. In history, there are many like invasions for the herbs and the spices actually. Traditionally, we use a lot of herbs and spices for our normal cooking.
Okay.
And more than that, most of the Keralites love to live a natural life. So I was brought up in that environment and culture. I still remember when we were young, my father used to take to the Ayurveda doctors when we were having some sickness or illness, and also I had that passion to become a doctor. Overall, it was God's plan me to become an Ayurveda doctor. Luckily I got the chance to graduate from the oldest medical Ayurveda school in India. That is
you see why I said that we have the professional here, from the oldest Ayurvedic school.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you know she's a humble professor.
Thank you.
And so, I mean, what I know of Ayurveda is there's Ayurveda and then there's traditional Ayurveda.
Yes.
How does DHTC approach its Ayurvedic department?
Okay. In DHTC, we have a very well developed and equipped Ayurveda department. Me and my therapist, they are all from Kerala. I know they are licensed from the Dubai Health Authority, and also they are well experienced and trained in Ayurvedic treatments. Like in a traditional way, we are doing all the treatments here, and we use the genuine oils from Kerala. And everything as per our science textbooks and the protocol, we do the treatments.
Yeah, what I've heard is two things. Number one, that we offer individualized care.
Yes.
And number two, that traditional care.
Yes.
It seems like we have a question.
A client has asked, can you mention the oldest institute where you have cleared Ayurveda from? They are really interested to know about that.
Yeah, I graduated from Trivandrum Ayurveda Medical College. Actually, it was founded by one of the Maharajas in the year 1889. It's a very well developed hospital. I know we have different sections like Ayurveda. There is 8 branches in Ayurveda, like the gynecology, toxicology.
8 branches?
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's still a well-known, well-famous hospital.
So as an Ayurvedic practitioner, you have to understand the entire body.
Yes. So we need to study anatomy, physiology and everything. It's a 5 years course plus 6 months house agency I have done for the training.
Wow. So in medicine there's this debate about being doctors, and we won't get into that debate. But certainly when someone has put that length of study in, you're worthy of holding the title doctor.
Yes.
Yeah. I know that the oil that you use in Ayurveda is really important. Let's get into discussing the oil, if you don't mind. Tell us about the oil.
Oil is actually assimilating in nature. Assimilating means it has the power to assimilate the essence of the herbs to the oil. So actually, there are many different types of oil. Like I think more than 100 or 150 types of Ayurvedic
I know
oils.
sunlight oil and and olive oil.
Yeah, so that's a basic oil.
Yes.
Basic oil we use like coconut oil, sesame oil, castor oil. So, but we mix with the herbs. There are different methods of like cooking with the oil. Cooking means infusing the herbs to the oils. It's a long process and no traditional different processes to get the essence of the herbs into the oil, and we use that herbal oils for the different problems. So the selection of the oil is very important during the treatment. We need to know your body.
So it's not just choosing olive oil or coconut oil and using that.
So if you are not using the right oil, your treatment will not be effective.
Wow. There was a question, let's have it.
So the client wants to know, is the institute just a college for students, or people can go there for treatments as well?
Yes, treatments as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there is a well-developed hospital there.
Wow, that's fantastic, man. That's fantastic. So presumably then the different oils are either effective for the doshas or the energies that are in the body. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you have to know the dosha energies in my body, the imbalances and so on forth, in order to prescribe the appropriate
Correct,
oil.
yeah. Otherwise the treatment will not be effective. It's not like a massage or an oil application. You need the correct oil as per your dosha, means your body constitution, your imbalance, and we need to look so many things.
I think what you just said now is really important, is that people think Ayurveda is massage. But what you're saying is it's a lot deeper than just massage.
Yes, Ayurvedic massage and the other massages are completely different. In the other massage, it is only like easing the tension or the pressure, and it is only tranquility for a short time.
Sure.
But in the Ayurvedic massage, it is actually the herbs, the treating for the tension or the problem or the inflammation or swelling.
And presumably that work occurs after the therapy. As in, you've applied the therapy, you've done the massage, you've done the oil, and for a couple of days afterwards, the oil and the infusion of the herbs is doing its work.
Yes, of course, yeah.
So
this is the difference between the other massage and the Ayurvedic massage.
Right. And I know that there are sort of five treatments, 5 therapies?
Yeah, Panchkarma treatments.
Yeah, I knew that I was going to forget that word, Panchkarma.
Panchkarma. Panch means 5 in the Sanskrit language.
Okay, so count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, tell me.
Yeah, so Panchkarma is actually the 5-fold purification. It is a detox program.
Right.
It's very important part of the Ayurvedic treatment. When there is an imbalance in the dosha energy, it can build up a lot of toxins. So that toxins we call as ama. Ama is a Sanskrit word. Okay. So the first line of treatment is to expel this ama from our body. So that's very important. Without that cleaning or the detox, the treatment will not be effective.
And I'm going to pause you on that. It's very often when I'm doing case histories with patients that their elimination system is not working correctly.
Yeah.
I think it would be important, if you don't mind, just give our listeners what are the ways that the body eliminates, and how does a person know if they're not eliminating correctly?
Our body has our own natural system of elimination, like through the feces, through the urine and the sweat, through lymph glands, liver. Many organs are doing its function. It has to work in a structured way. Otherwise, if one has the problem, it can affect the other parts. So basically, that is why Ayurveda gives lot of emphasis for the detox treatment. As I said, the Panchkarma treatments, that's a 5-fold things. That is the first is the emesis, means the vomiting.
Yes.
Then second is the virejana, we call it the purgation. We give medicines and for the passing of the through the stool.
Yes.
And the third one is the vasti. It is like an enema. There is 2 types of vastis. One we use with the oil and other with the decoction.
Sure.
And the fourth one is the bloodletting. In skin diseases, we do like it's not cupping, it is like blood pricking and eliminate the vitiated or the impure blood from the body. And the fifth one is called the Nasim. Nasim is a treatment mainly for the upper part, like the head related. It's very effective for sinusitis, head.
Is that where the neti pot fits in?
No. It is with the oil we use.
Okay, because
So
I know
this is the five-fold purification therapy.
You know, one of the questions that I wanted to ask, and again, from a Western point of view, as I said, I knew nothing about Ayurveda. You know, I think that the Western world is missing out on something fantastic because they know nothing about Ayurveda. How do we get the Westernized people to understand Ayurveda? How do we help them to choose Ayurveda as a treatment approach?
Yeah. As we all know, the Western culture is more linked to the allopathic medicines and treatment. When we compare the allopathic system of medicine and Ayurveda medicine, there are huge differences. Because in Western medicine, they mainly focus for the symptoms and they treat mostly for the symptoms. Ayurveda, we don't look at the symptoms, we only look for the causes and the imbalances. Actually, we can treat the many symptoms by treating with the root cause. So we don't treat for the symptoms. Maybe you will have headache, back pain, leg pain, joint pain, but we can use the same medicine and the protocol for treating all the symptoms, because we are not treating for your symptoms, because yours the problems may be an imbalance in your Vata energy or Pitta energy. We are concentrating only for the Vata and the Pitta imbalance.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can imagine that for a lot of Western people who have tried allopathic medicine and haven't got the results long term, maybe symptomatically felt better for a time, but haven't got the long-term results. Maybe Ayurvedic is best in that situation.
Yeah, Ayurveda is actually it's a lifestyle living. Like once you identify your body doshas, or what is good for your body, what is not good for your body, it's very easy to live an Ayurvedic life. So it's not a big thing to follow all these things. It's very simple Ayurvedic. You need to identify how is it, what
I
is
like what you've said now. I want to come back to that, but I want to check, are there any further questions? If there are, please put it in the check box. Coming back to right at the beginning, you said there are two parts of Ayurveda. One is learning the lifestyle, and I think that's really important. Everyone is individual. They have to learn what is good for them and what is not good for them, and that then allows them to build the lifestyle.
Yes.
But we live in this wonderful place called Dubai, which is a busy city, and there's lots of pressures and so on and so forth. How easy is it to live the lifestyle?
For me, I don't think it's a big issue because I am living in Dubai for more than 20 years.
Wow.
So it's very easy. I feel once you identify what is good for us and what is not good for us, it's very easy. Select the foods which is not good. Select the foods which are not good for us. It's easy.
But I mean, if I'm looking at food choices, I mean, I went to Carrefour over the weekend, and you go and you look at the fresh produce. There is just fruit and vegetables and whatnot from all over the world. How do I know what is good for me and what is not good for me?
First of all, you need to find out what dosha you have, what is your energy level. Okay,
right.
So if you are, example, if you are a Vata person, so we advise do not eat anything cold, rough things. So the foods or the vegetables or the fruits which are cold or rough in nature during the digestion, don't take it.
So you mentioned knowing what my energies are.
Yeah.
How do I learn that? Do I have to come to see a practitioner to learn that?
Yeah, you can find out yourself too. There are many questionnaires. If you check in the websites, online, you can find.
How accurate are those questionnaires, Dr. Asha Jones?
Yeah, I don't think like that. But better you see the practitioner, because there is few things we need to touch the body. We need to ask many questions like what is your cravings, what is your taste,
Right.
how is your sleep.
And that first visit, I mean, how long is that first visit with a patient?
Minimum 30 minutes to 40 minutes we need.
And I know you do
access.
pulse
Yeah,
diagnosis
we
as
do
well.
the
We'll get to that now. Again, just to remind, if there are any questions, please will you let us know. So in terms of the pulse diagnosis, explain that a little bit for us. How do you know where someone's energy is from the pulse?
Pulse diagnosis is mainly meant for to know which type, the body, the Vata, Pitta, and what is your imbalance. And through the pulse diagnosis, we can assess so many things like what problem you have, like what was the cause of it, and so many things we can find through the pulse diagnosis.
So a person doesn't have to come to see you because they have symptoms. They can come to see you to say, you know what, I know that I'm not living a good life for my body, and I need guidance to live a better lifestyle.
Yeah.
Would you be able to help those type of people?
Yes. See, mostly, when people come to us, we are, my major part is, the diet changes, the lifestyle modification, advising for the how to live a disease-free life. Okay, we will treat for the imbalance. Once that imbalance is over, we need to maintain that health, so we should observe so many things which is suiting to our body.
And I think for me that helps out is because in today's society, if you go and look at diets, I mean, there is a diet for just about everything. And you can say, well, I'm going to choose to be paleo or ketogenic or one of these things, which there's validity in that, there's science in that. But if we look at that, it doesn't suit everyone. What you're saying is you agree it doesn't suit everyone because everyone has their own individual energies. And what I feel is that's also part of learning about yourself on an ongoing basis, is to make sure that every single day you're learning your own self to be able to move forward. Yes. Are there questions? Yes, there's some questions.
The client has asked, how long does it take to change into an Ayurvedic lifestyle? Like how quickly a person can adapt to it?
It is very easy, it doesn't need so much time it's very easy. Once you identify what is your body type and what is your imbalance and if there is any imbalance, it's very easy to switch to the Ayurvedic lifestyle. It's very easy.
Would you say a few weeks? Would you say a month or two?
Maybe some corrections it depends on how we can adapt to that changes
But I also sense that perhaps patients would need to be in contact with you on a regular basis to be able to ask that question. I mean, my brain is thinking that I'd be in car 4 and I'm looking at a potato, for example, and I go, I don't know, should I eat this or should I not? Can I phone Dr. Asha Jones to ask that question?
There is no problem.
Fantastic. We got another question, yes.
How do you check doshas and how can we know what dosha we belong to?
Oh, that's so good.
So if you are coming to me, mainly I ask many questions regarding your diet, lifestyle, your mood changes, your body feelings, your mental level states, and then your digestion, your sleep, and your activity. And everything needs to be assessed to find out what is your dosha type.
And
so it's not just A, B, and C. It's depth, yes.
And can these doshas be changed? Like suppose if I am Vata, can it be changed to Pitta? A client needs to know.
Normally it will not. Our basic constitution will remain same till our death. But there will be imbalances because of the as I said before, our diet changes or the diet, the food, if you don't take the food which is not suiting to your dosha type, there can be imbalances. But our basic constitution or body type will not change.
And that certainly means that the earlier you learn about your energies, the better.
Yes.
So how early would you suggest someone brings their kids to come and learn about their energies?
You can see when like an age of 16 or 18 years, it is.
That's when the energies are sort of fully formed.
Fully formed,
Wow. So from that point onwards, knowing your energies and working from that is important. Are there further questions that anyone wants to ask? I must be honest, I'm loving this conversation. Let me take it one step further. I mean, in terms of people being able to contact you, obviously they can come and make appointments. But are you available on sort of WhatsApp and on emails and stuff?
Yes, I am available with WhatsApp and email.
Fantastic. So people, if they have got questions, they can certainly get hold of you and ask that. I know from my point of view is my brain's going crazy of saying, You know, how do I know? And is there a way of being able to have someone of your level of professionality to be able to ask those questions, to feel that? But certainly if someone does eat something wrong, they will be able to feel that shift in their energy.
Yes, yes, yeah. For example, Vada people cannot tolerate the cold foods. So if you eat a cold food, no, definitely you will feel some symptoms. So that's why in Ayurveda it's saying, no, always listen to your body. Okay, feel it. You should use your senses. Like, no, we have the 5 senses. Always use the sense to feel your body. The body is an I don't know how to say. Like, no, it's a very, very complicated, like, no.
God has designed his body amazingly.
Amazingly.
Yeah.
But we are ignoring all these senses and no, we don't care.
I think what you just mentioned now is so important. If someone wants to start their Ayurvedic lifestyle, start by being conscious.
Yes.
You know, we live in a busy world where from the time you wake up to the time you go to sleep, you're not spending time with yourself.
No, we don't listen to our body.
So give us like 2 ways that we can listen to our body. What would you suggest?
So eat the right diet. You need to, because in Ayurveda, no, it is explaining, no, there are 3 pillars of health. One is the food, the second is the sleep, and the third one is actually our life, like, no, the sexual life and all that. So all this is needed for the health. Okay. Diet, no, there are so many things advising, like, no, eat the right quantity. Means like we don't know how to eat and know how much food we need to eat. We eat till we feel full. So Ayurveda says eat only 1/3 of your capacity. 1/3 for the food, 1/3 for the water, and 1/3 you keep empty. Why? We need some space for the movement.
I think that's very important, because the Western world is you smash food into your mouth, you got a big fat tummy at the end, and you sit there and you go, I feel satisfied, but that's not what you're saying.
Yeah. So there are many advices like that, no, for each and everything, how you should sleep, what time you
Let's talk about sleep, because I think in this day and age, very few people are sleeping correctly.
Yeah.
How do you know that you're having a good night's sleep?
If you are waking up fresh and energetic, you can feel.
I think I can put a tick to that for me. Yes.
So you are seeing, your sleep is good.
Yes.
Okay. If you're in the morning, if you feel like very tired and like you want to sleep more,
yes,
something had gone wrong.
Right.
So normally it is advised to sleep 8 to 9 hours for the adult, and Ayurveda advises to wake up very early, like 4:30 to 6 is the good time to wake up. We say that Brahme Mungurte Uttishte, means it is a Sanskrit word. Brahme means it's the time of the god. So you should wake up in the early time, like between the 4:30 and the 6.
I can tell you that's difficult in this part of the world. It's very difficult. So, now, what I was just thinking about now is within 24 hours of the day, you're mentioning 8 to 9 hours. That means that there are 3 hours, 1/3 of your day is sleeping. And then, the 2/3 is awake.
Yeah.
That means that there is a symbolism about 3. Is that correct in Ayurveda? Yeah. Tell me more. Why is the symbolism of 3 in Ayurveda? Because I'm also thinking from a Christianity point of view. There's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Tell me more about this 3. We might get into some conspiracy theories, and I apologize about that. But tell us, is there something to the 3?
I don't know about in that sense, but I think there are many 3s in there, because I'm not sure why is there, because Ayurveda has a 3 dosha theory. And the 3 mala, there are different 3s in Ayurveda.
And in chiropractic you have the triune brain theory, which looks at the 3 parts of the brain. It would be very interesting, and I'm just going to let you know that Dr. Asha Jones and I are going to do some research and investigation into that. Let's ask one more time, are there any questions that people have? I'm going to ask one more question to Dr. Jones, and then we're going to sign off. I know that there are so many different names to the massages. I know Abhyangam and Shirodhara. How many different forms of treatments are there?
See, there are many forms of treatments. The basic aim of the treatment is to give the essence of the herbs to the body. Shirodhara is a treatment aimed for the head related problem. Abhyangam is a body massage, means a body oil application. There are different versions of this oil application. Like in Dhara, now we apply the oil like it in a continuous stream for the body. Sometimes if you have some part problems, like for example any disc problem or joint problems, we keep the oil in that area for a particular time. That is Kati Basti. Then we do the Pirichil, that is again the Dhara. It's all the different versions of the oil application. Not only oil, we use other things too, like the medicated buttermilk, we call it medicated milk for the Dhara. Then sometimes we use
Again, it brings rice. To me just the complexity of Ayurveda.
Yeah, it's a very complex science system, and each and everything is explained very clearly in the text. So it's a very deep study.
Dr. Jones, I got to tell you, I am so intrigued to know more, and hopefully for our visitors and our guests that they're also intrigued. Please feel free at any point to contact Dr. Asha Jones. If you don't know how to get hold of us, please find us. Dubai Herbal and Treatment Center. It's a great place. We're going to be back in 2 weeks from now. We're going to be chatting to another amazing practitioner. Thank you very much for joining us today. Dr. Jones, thank you once again. What a pleasure, and have a brilliant day.
Thank you.